there everyone, and welcome back to Empire Total War with Darth Mod. We're playing as Poland, Lithuania, and last time around we took Athens, and with that we pushed the Ottomans out of Europe. And since then I've done 20 turns trying to prepare for my huge war, gigantic war. Against the Austrians and the Russians, and most likely a whole host of their allies. And also, since then, the Ottomans have tried to declare war on me again, or tried to. They have declared war, and they did an attempt on Constantinople. Didn't go so well for them, though, and I beat them back. And since then, I've gone ahead and started building up. There's happened quite a lot of stuff in the 20 turns. So I think we'll start with the fact that the king died. And then the king that replaced him died pretty shortly afterwards. So we switched kings twice. So this is the third king, which is now in charge, which is Michael the First. He is now king. He is a jughead, a bon vivant, and tactician. So it's actually pretty good, but somehow a jughead nonetheless. Which, the jughead thing only really affects happiness. So the nobility doesn't like him, but the lower classes does. So that happened. We've lost a lot of kings. And then I've gone ahead and started recruiting armies, and I've built up armies to fill the gaps, as we're going to have quite a long front line against all these nations. I've also started recruiting a new sort of more modern, or the most modern army I'm going to have. So I'm going to comprise that of all the most modern troops, which is going to be all riflemen. And then they're going to be backed up by the sharpshooters. We're going to have rockets and loads of those kinds of weapons. So we're starting to building that as yet another army. And with that, we're going to go through the placement of my armies. So I'm not going to place armies really everywhere. I'm going to place certain locations. I probably kind of have too few, given that we're most likely going to face off with Hanover, a few others. But I think will suffice. So if we start up here, I have gone ahead and put extra garrison in Copenhagen, and we're gonna put extra garrison in Berlin. They actually need a few cannons, I think, to defend that. So we've got our first new army stationed right here under Raphael Bartosha. Few cannons, few howitzers. Lots of infantry, quite a lot of engineers, and some of the light infantry and so forth. And then the next one's over here under Kazimierz Bendnats. He's got mortars, cannons, some of the Pardurs, irregulars. He's got some of the new Grenadier Guards, which is like the top tier Grenadier Guards. We do have some other Grenadier Guards. He's got some Grenadier Horse, and importantly, he's got some of the biggest cannons. He's got the 32-pounder heavy howitzers, which are the biggest ones you can get. And there's a few in each of these armies. So he's stationed there. And just to go over, so this one is supposed to go against Dresden. This one is supposed to go against Breslau in Silesia in Saxony. So we're gonna attack like so. Then if we go through here, there's nothing really on this side because I don't think the enemy is gonna go through here. As you remember, I stationed the National Lancers over here because we were gonna run over Klausenberg pretty easily here in Transylvania. But since then, I guess the enemy has kind of realized that I'm building up a force here. So they have recruited more and more troops. And so, to add on to this force, to just not have all cavalry, I've got these Albanian war bands, which we sent in just to put some flair on that army. Might have needed some cannons and stuff, but the thing is, the enemy's got so many cannons stationed here, then I think it's better just to try and overrun them. Might need some more infantry, though. And most of the Austrian troops are kind of stationed around this port and in this area. So I've stationed 2 armies in this area. We've got the Lancer army, which have gone get some new cannons, got some extra infantry and so forth. Some of the 24-pounder howitzers. Down here we've got one of the newer armies, lots of heavy cavalry, some of the new grenadier guards, and so forth throughout that. So that army is ready then to go through here, and then this one could possibly go there in kind of a pincer maneuver, or if this one goes up here and try to snipe out the enemy's capital. And down here in Athens, building up a force of mostly marines and some howitzers just to hold this in case. Now the Venetian troops actually moved a bigger part of their army, so they don't really have anything more than militia and conscripts down here. So it should be, if they declare war on us, and they don't have a wall either, so it's kind of a pushover of that. And since the Ottomans have declared war on us, we built up this force with the Marines, and this is the late Marines. Now on the picture and so on, I think they look rather good, but when you actually see them in game, they look like a fruity kind of version of steampunk, which I'm not too much of a fan of, so they look kind of ridiculous, in fact. But if they had looked kind of normal, I think, or as they present them here on the picture, probably would have been fine, but they look god-awful. The Ottomans are laying siege to our port here. I have been able to build a proper dry port over here, and we're building up second-rate lines of the ship of the line, not the line of the ship. And that should be enough to see away the Ottomans' rather large navy. They have their bomb cache. Could be dangerous, actually, because they're basically firing howitzer shots, which are pretty devastating, can be pretty devastating if they actually manage to get a proper hit, because they set ships on fire pretty easily. And then against the Russians, we start off with a fort here, which is, as you know, the Pike army. We've got some new cannons, they've actually got some extra light troops. Should really have gone getting some better cavalry, maybe some heavy cavalry. Right now they have provincial cavalry and the lances. But I'm not entirely sure it will be too hard to dislodge the Russians. They do have some heavier... well, they have a lot of dragoons and stuff. But I think we can shoot away their cavalry. Most likely it's going to be a bridge battle there. So... and then we have this fight over here, where we've stationed an army in a wooden fort. This is one of the newer armies, or it's... I think it's a bigger garrison army I put together. And then I've added on some cannons, mostly infantry, lots of grenadiers, some of the elite, line infantry guard elites. Very distinguished general, 63 years though, so it's better to start the war soon, because... this guy definitely gonna die pretty soon, as kings and so forth has fallen. This guy might very well die of old age. So that's that army, and that's supposed to go against Kiev, and then it will either support an attack towards Moscow, but mostly I think Moscow is not that well defended. So I think Moscow will fall with just the army that I've set up to attack Moscow. So we got another wooden fort here, where we've got the Fusilier army, and that will march down. And I think I've added on some extra troops on this one. So I think they, unless the Russians got something to stop us at the bridge, there should be no problem reaching this, and then sieging it and taking it. So I don't think we will have much problem there. Could be if the Russians keep something here, and then we'll kind of go into here. When I just thought about right now, might want to add on some extra line infantry. I make a lot of money, but we'll have to consider with just the enemies that are going to go against us that my trade will be blocked. Right now I made 66,000 out of all the cash I'm making. So if I lose those 66,000, you can see that I would definitely end up in the red. I have built up a little bit of a cash reserve of 500,000 ducats, or whatever cash we keep. So we should be fine for quite a while, even if we're completely locked out of international trade. And also, if we just go past here, you might notice that I have a governor of America and a governor of India. And that is because of my diplomatic dealings with the Mughal Empire. So you've seen in the past how I've dealt with the Mughal Empire and traded some technologies and stuff with them. Just to protect my trade, I just want to go over here. I've got 2 fleets with 20 ships in each, all of which are second-rate ship of the line. It's a pretty devastating force that is protecting, so they can't go in and stop me at the ports. So that should keep this trade open, which accounts for about 28,000 over here, and 20,000 here. So the bigger part, the major part of my trade income comes through here. So anyways, in my dealings with trading with them, and as we are reaching kind of the peak of technology in terms of what's available within the game, the Mughals have actually traded away, first of all, they traded away this, which I don't know how they came to control this, but they traded away Martinique in the Windwards Islands, which we have taken. So we got sugar now that we export back to Poland, and I'm starting to recruit buccaneers because we're going to try and take on the pirates there. They when I actually got the settlement, the pirates was sieging, or not sieging, they had taken over the port, so I had to oust the pirates out of the port and take it back. So now it's under my control. And there's a few other areas that we could possibly see them taking. There's a few strange other areas, like this one is actually controlled by Hanover. And let's see if there's any other crazy changes. This Mughal Empire has taken New Orleans and Louisiana, which is pretty strange. But the Mughal Empire is a very formidable... Austria has taken Georgia, which is also kind of strange occurrence. But the Mughal Empire is not that strange because they have been so powerful, and I guess it's not that strange that the Austrians have claimed Georgia. I'm not entirely sure. I guess they might have fought the Spanish at some point. And so the Spanish have taken up a part of Louisiana, and they've gone through a few territories there. And if we go through, there's no big changes here in terms of what countries hold all these areas. What is a bit surprising though is if we go back to Europe, is if we go to Gibraltar. I'm gonna see if this is still the case. No, it's not. It's no longer the case. But the Cherokee Nation actually held this a while, which was kind of strange. I don't know exactly what Spain traded with the Cherokee nations to get that, but that was pretty strange. Also, Mughal Empire hold Corsica. I was actually trying to buy Corsica off the Mughal Empire, but they did not go for that. Instead, they gave me some Caribbean islands, which is a bit strange. And also, I guess the reason why Venice evacuated sort of this part of Greece is because they have been sending troops to northern Africa, taking Algeria and also Tripoli, or Libya, which is called today. And then you wonder, well, you also had a governor for India, so what's that? Well, the Mughal Empire actually gave me the Kashmir region, which, you know, as today is a very contested territory in between India and Pakistan. And that followed in tradition, because as soon as I took that, or as soon as I got that, Persia declared war on me. So I got a little bit of a sliver of a border with Persia. And right now I am recruiting... Oh, sorry. I'm recruiting a load of Gurkhas. Or Gurkhas. I think they're spelled different. So I'm not sure if they are Gurkhas or if there's another kind of people's group that is here. I'm wondering also if I should... Right now I'm trying to get an army out there, but what I probably should do is replace this building, the main building here, for a military governance building, which will open up more recruiting slot, but also more types of infantry, sepoys, kind of an Polish East India Company, and cannons and stuff that we might need if we intend to expand from there, possibly moving in, or at least to make it easier for us to protect the Kashmir region. Also, I am building a church to change out the religion of the area. It's Hindu, 5%, then 20% Sikh, then 74 Islam. And there live quite a few people here, so let's see, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, 1.5 million people live here in this region that we control. But we're not going to make a major move to try and take over India or anything. So back to Europe, and what do I have left now? When I've gone, I think I've gone through everything, and hopefully you kind of understand everything, or get a good overview of what's going on right now. And then also just quickly going back here, that we are at like the peak technology. There's only a few smaller things we need to do, like with rifled cannons. We're going for the cap lock musket and stuff like that. And with all of this said, it's time now to actually start this war. So we'll start off with Tsar Peter, and we'll go ahead and cancel trade. Cancel the alliance. And then, let's see, declare war. So, there's a few differences here. So Austria's on both sides. I don't think Austria will join Peter. Denmark might. Georgia might. And I don't know if any one of these will actually join me in the war, but we'll try, just to mess all the alliances up. So let's see how this goes. And Russia and... okay, so the United Provinces and Austria join, and Georgia join. So Denmark stays out, which is probably just as well, since they only control Iceland at this point. So right now, at this point, Ottoman Empire, Russia is at war with us, Georgia and Persia. But we intend to get a lot more, as Austria stands with a lot of allies. They also have a lot of enemies. As you can see, France, the pirates, the Hurons. Well, the more important nations is France, Italian states, Great Britain, Ottoman Empire, Russia, and yeah, we're not going to count any of the others. I'm going to go ahead and cancel trade, cancel the alliance, and then with that, we're going to declare war. So my allies are United Province and Spain. And they have Hanover, Venice, United Provinces, Spain, and Mughal Empire. So both here are on both sides. United Provinces, Spain is on both sides. But I think they've been allied with the Austrians for a lot longer, so they'll probably go side with her. I just noticed that her power is not as strong as mine, and her wealth is not as strong as mine either. So maybe Austria is not as powerful as we might have thought. So, looks like Venice declared war on us. United Provinces broke with Austria, Mughal Empire, Hanover seemed to have declared war on us, and also maybe Spain. So Spain declared war on us, Hanover, Mughal Empire, and Venice. And, yes, so right now we've got Austria, Mughal Empire, Ottoman Empire, Russia, Spain, Georgia, Hanover, Persia, and Venice at war with us. And with that, I think we're going to move the armies into action. We need a general over here, and let's see if we can find, because I just moved over 3 units, so it's the 3 last, I guess, 3 last Marines. Okay, so it's this guy, and this guy. No? The general then? Oh, I can't bring the... I brought out the general just so I could bring a general, but... So we'll bring these over here, and that will be the start of this. It's actually not that favorable to me, but is that because I didn't bring... What we can do, can we do this then? That's probably what I should have done for start, and unfortunately we're gonna send you away. So, and that should give me victory. So we'll start off, since there's so much to do, we're definitely gonna have to out-resolve quite a bit. And that means we control the entirety of Greece. And also I don't need to exempt tax to get that port started, which is over here. So that's nice, so we don't have to worry about that as sort of a smaller border. And then as we look across, let's start with Russia, where we just move everything into position now. So we're gonna lay siege. And look, what are these? Look at that picture, it looks like something out of Lord of the Rings, with that kind of bluish blade. So we'll lay siege there, and we're gonna start off this one. This could draw us into battle if there's anything at the bridge. But there isn't! And we're able to cross whatever river this is. The Volga. Is that the Volga, or is that going somewhere else? We're able to cross the bridge anyways, which gives us direct access to Moscow, and we can strike there within the next turn. So we've done everything on this side. This one's going to go directly into battle, so we don't move forward that army until I'm actually ready to do that battle. And then we'll go over here. So the Hanoverians joined in, but I'm hoping to strike the Hanoverians before, or not strike the... Oh, I can strike Hanover. Maybe that's better. To strike Hanover and try to get them out than to move forwards to Dresden, Saxony. But it's dicey. It's very dicey there. This army is less likely to actually move out of their fort, but this one's not close enough to move there. Could it be better to strike at the Austrians first than to go against the Hanoverians? Hopefully the Hanoverians will try to go for Denmark instead. Don't try to attack across here rather than go for Berlin. Berlin is a bit undermanned, or they would need some cannons to try and kind of defend against these. The thing is, this army is going to be really close, so I think we'll be fine. So we'll move across and we'll lay siege here. And I think what we'll do here is we'll lay siege until they go ahead and attack us. Because with the amount of troops they've stationed here, and plus that extra army there, there's no... that siege is going to be so messy. However, this siege is more possible, and it'll definitely aid us a lot, because we'll have... This town lies right on the crossing point of this river that goes straight through Silesia. So if we want to have a quicker route from the main sort of area here in Poland, we want to go through there. You know what? Not really, because we hold a bridge over there, so we can march towards through Hungary and get there. But it's another option for us to take this. You know what? The road that goes through here doesn't even lead into enemy territory. It just passes in through our... It's a good place to take anyways. And then we have down here, but that's also not really sieges on either side. And since I've done so much introduction here, it's probably best for a smaller battle. Preferably not a siege battle. There's going to be some major battles here. It's going to go through here. It's going to be lots of battle. This I cannot do. This maybe against the Russians. It's a pretty big siege. What we'll do is the smallest one we have, which is the siege of, what's this? Breslau in Silesia. So we're going to take Silesia first, I guess. Which is a pretty silly one, because they mostly have cavalry stationed here. But yeah, just to kick off the war, we're gonna start with this one, and yes, without further ado, let's strike our enemies and take victory. And so we have breached the walls finally. It took me about 10 minutes, 12 minutes to be precise. I'm gonna move up the light infantry to start off, which we've got sort of the standard Empire light infantry. And we also got some powders which I've gone ahead and placed to the furthest to the right there. The enemy is charging out, and that is because I'm trying to climb the walls over here with the engineers. So they have some militia charging out of the fort, which I think the light infantry will do short work of these guys, as it is a militia that's already lost tons of men. Seem to be firing awfully high though, a lot of the troops. But surely we're going to break down those pretty easily. To charge in through the gap, I've got the Grenadiers, which is going to move in and go through the gap. I'm trying to open up here as well. And I have had my mortars blow a hole here. Ah, they're actually done with that. They're pretty darn useful. They've done a lot more damage than all the other cannon shots combined here. So light infantry is shooting these guys as my engineers, which actually have access, are fighting against the militia troops, and soon we'll be able to break through here as well. My 2 grenadier units are moving forward, so let's take a look at some of the units that we haven't seen before. So it's first time we see these guys in battle, which are the Paradurs, or however you want to pronounce them, which kind of got like some weird kind of Santa Claus hat thing on them with a cape. And also they haven't buttoned their shirt up. But it's a light infantry, and I think it's from vanilla as well. You've got those units specifically for Poland. And then over here we've got the new Grenadiers, as I call them, or the Grenadier Guards, as I think we do have another Grenadier Guard unit. But these are the top tier Grenadiers, and I actually like these uniforms for once. Most of the sort of standard Empire and Darth Mod uniforms are not that good looking if you compare them to Imperial Destroyer, but these ones I actually do like the look of them. So these ones I like. And then further to the right here we've got, I'm not entirely sure why I only got one, but it's Foot Infantry Guards, which they look okay. And then one thing that I kind of found pretty strange is I only actually brought one cavalry unit for this army, which is these Horse Grenadiers, which I think are ripped off from. I think these are originally just Spanish troops that they've changed color on, from vanilla, that is. With that said, let's see what kind of progress we're making. So we're climbing this wall. The 2 units that charged out were dealt with by the light infantry. They seem to have shot a few of their own, but they are done there. So we have plenty of access into the actual center courtyard of the enemy, and we're about to open up there. I think what I'll do is we'll charge in the Grenadiers and we'll try to take that house, and then we'll make attempts through the openings with line infantry. So I'm gonna push 3 units each through the openings. We have 3 to go through there, but since we're actually opening up even another hole over there, we're gonna send another 3 units over there. And then if in case everything goes belly up, then we've got the Super Grenadiers to send in, and the Line Infantry Guard. It's a bit annoying that it doesn't actually distinguish in between the units in Empire. Okay, so we're kind of stuck in melee here, which if I redraw one of the Grenadiers, we could possibly throw grenades onto the enemy. But that would definitely just murder this unit. So let's see if we can redraw this one as well before this one throws its grenades. Tell this one to run out of there. And let's see if these guys want to throw. To the point where this one, which isn't the one that took the most damage even, is kind of not too happy about its situation. I want you to throw grenades, if you please. All the engineers are on. So let's have them capture each side of the wall. And maybe they can charge down onto that. Oh, there we threw the grenades. And we kind of blew a hole through the enemy infantry. I want the grenadiers to be stationed outside. I didn't really think about the fact that they were gonna be able to get there so quickly. The enemy cavalry is now charging out full force, which we need to address by redirecting some of the infantry units, forming a square over here. Just try and stop them, and then turning these guys to be able to fire onto them. And then I do believe I sent 3 units here. They should go further to the right and then turn towards the holes here. So the enemy has put up most of their guard units here, even though I'm not really close to even moving through here. So I don't know what they were thinking there. Let's see if we can't throw some more grenades and kind of blow our way through here, because slowly trying to whittle down the enemy through melee fighting is probably going to take a while. I don't think my guys are going to throw, are they? Or are they? No, they're not. And I don't think the fighting is really going my way, is it? The light infantry will pull back just slightly there. And I guess the grenadiers kind of failed on their task, so the line infantry will take up the charge there. And the light infantry here getting attacked by the enemy cavalry, so they'll try to withdraw. And then I want the grenadier guards to come at a bit of an angle there to try and avoid friendly fire. And then if these can kind of draw out there. Kind of became quite the mess when the enemy decided to send their cavalry out. We're gonna do 3 squares there to stop the enemy cavalry. My infantry is under attack there, which is not particularly nice. Swiss Grenadiers are stationed down here, while the engineers are melee fighting with some provincial militia. I was hoping these guys would get a better position. You know what? Imagine if I had my grenadiers up here, they could throw down on this. I want you to make your way into the house. Retreat. These guys are not doing too well. Provincial cavalry is doing my head in, but it looks as though we're sending them all away, more or less. 2 smaller grenadier units. Gonna have them retreat over here. Oh, my cannons. I had a real tough time having them actually do what I told them to by firing onto the walls. Seems most Austrians there retreated, and it kind of opened up the hole for us. Most of the enemy troops are retreating. I want you still to take control of that house, and with the kind of gates now open, we need to get through before the enemy is able to kind of stop us from going in. And let's see if we can pile on 3 units from this side as well. And as the enemy is reducing its amount of troops here, we can use this to get in through there. And nice, these guys were able to get in, and hopefully I can get quite a bit of good shots out of here against the cavalry units and so forth. And then the line infantry is now charging in and attacking the enemy cavalry. We've got loads of Swiss grenadiers. Let's see if we can't ambush them with our grenades. Ooh, what are you guys doing? Oh, they're throwing grenades and blowing up the Swiss grenadiers. Let's see if we can throw some more grenades onto the Swiss grenadiers. Imagine being a grenadier unit defeated by grenades. Blow the bastards. Ooh, here we go. Killing loads. And then we can kind of lock them in place by shooting them down, the remnants of that. Get stuck on the enemy bloody cavalry. Oh, and the enemy decides to charge out here, which is just as well because we can defeat them easier that way. And with that, let's go inside with these 3 units. Gonna pull back out of that hole. Can drag with us the enemy cavalry, and hopefully that will more easily defeat them. The Austrians over here are about to get destroyed by my engineer, so they can take that house instead. I'm gonna order them to take a position in all the windows on this side, so I really want every kind of shot going out these sides. I want each window with one of our guys in it firing out towards the enemy. And then I want you guys to actually follow my order and move out, and in so dragging out that cavalry unit and stopping them from taking further part in the battle. These 3 units have made it in, and will draw long lines and prepare to shoot down the enemy and move through here. So the cavalry was brought out, and it was a complete mess. The Swiss guards were shot down by my grenadiers. That's an absolute mess. In this fight, where cavalry is mingled with the infantry. It also opens up for these 3 to actually move through. This is why you kind of want to avoid siege battles when you got so many troops, just because it turns to an utter mess. I want you to flank out like that, so we'll 2 firing this way, and then you can shoot down the general's bodyguard, which should be easy enough. And once they move into your flank, you can go into square. And I can box that guy in, and I want 1 unit to go towards the flag, and then I want 1 unit gonna back up that house here, where they've charged in quite a lot of troops to take care of the few men I've gotten in there. So the enemy general should be dead pretty soon, if my men would actually fire. I'm wondering if it is that they're just waiting for that guy right there before they want to fire. And yes, that's exactly what they were doing. And we have surrounded this one from 3 sides, shooting them to pieces. These 2 will hold fire, As this one charged in. Building lost, so we lost this one. The engineers were killed. See if the enemy wants to come out into this hailfire that we're laying onto the building, or if they're gonna go out the back. Or where inside they are. Looks like there are quite a few in here. Are they going out the front? Or are they gonna man the windows? Oh no, they're going out the back. They're going out the back in force. But it's too late because the battle is... Oh, they went out because they were retreating. So we were victorious. Let's head back to the campaign map, shall we? We have the result of the battle, so the entire garrison of 4,500 men was killed off. We're losing 1,600, leaving 5,000 men to take a position in the fort. I don't think we lost a unit, or maybe we did. It would be that one... yeah, it looks like that one engineer unit got lost. But other than that, it seems fine. We should be able to hold this region. So this is the start of the major war then. And yeah, this video has probably gone on long enough. So with that, I'll say as I always say, hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye!